Hello and welcome to Orchids 365, and this is a care collab video with many marvelous channels that I will list there in my description. Thank you again, Ninja Orchids, for inviting me along. And here's where I have my Oncidium Twinkle, which has grown all to one side of her pot, telling me she needs to go to a location with more light. Which is fine. I just moved her here closer so I can shoot this video for you. And right now her spikes, I mean, she is spiking everywhere beautifully, but they take forever to load, like I say, but that's okay. So this is one of only 3 Oncidiums that I own, and the only one that I have potted. So Oncidium orchids are very fast growing and very easy to cultivate, and they're always pushing out new bulbs. Sometimes they form large clumps, like you can say she's all clumped on one side, and she has formed multiple bulbs since I purchased her very small many years ago. You can break them apart, but you have to have a bigger plant because you want a minimum of like 3 to divide. This is a tiny little Oncidium, so you know it's suggested. You can always do it with less. That's up to you, of course, up to your discretion. So they are compacts. Their flowering is profuse. I feel like they're very tolerant to conditions and diseases and pests in comparison with other Oncidiums that I have owned. There was a thrip invasion a few weeks ago, and she was in the middle of the mess and it totally skipped right over her. So I have a reason to believe that she's a tough one, and that's why I like her, because a lot of Oncidiums can sometimes be a little problematic in this climate. And you know, growing outdoors here in Florida in the rainy season, you have to be careful. They easily rot. When it doesn't rain, they easily shrivel. So this is why I keep my Oncidiums to a minimal. I'm being totally honest, guys. I fertilize them actively while they're growing. I have my 20-20-20 formulation mix, which I use. I sometimes do give her a little bit of seaweed. Why not? Because she's surrounded by my vandas, so she takes some of that. They often can bloom any time of the year, this little hybrid. They prefer the autumn period, but right now we're in winter in Florida, and she's been plumping up. And I'm thinking, guys, I mean, maybe January we'll see them. I will give you an update when they do come out. The good thing is that although it feels like it takes months or weeks or for forever to see these flowers finally open, the flowers usually last me about a month. So, and they're super cute, and there's a lot of them, and they're very fragrant, very fragrant, sweet in my opinion. So the lighting, they sit in a part of my pergola that's partial to full shade. They don't get really direct sunlight. I just water before the plant tries to dry out. She doesn't have a lot of media in there. She's due for a repot. She's never had a repot because I got her so small. I'm pondering whether or not to keep her in this pot or mount her, although I feel like if I can just repot her in here, she can grow all around, and then the spikes would just, it would be a basket full of flowers, like all around. So maybe, since she's happy, I may keep her there, right? So yeah, they recommend the repotting at least every 2 years. A general rule is to repot them when the new shoot is 2 to 3 inches tall, or when new roots appear. All old mix should be removed from the roots, dead roots, etc., like I've showed you in some of my videos. So yeah, this is pretty much how I care for my Oncidium out here in my pergola. She's pretty much surrounded by my vandas because she really sits up in this corner right here. I moved her up front so you guys can get a better look while I'm filming, but she lives over there, and she gets a real good amount of morning light, and she's leaning towards that morning light, so I may move her a little more to the center. And yeah, she's easy. Like I said, she has been there doing her thing, has never given me any trouble, has never been fussy about anything, not overly thirsty, hasn't rotted. I mean, I don't want to jinx it, but so far so good. And again, this is for my zone, my climate. I'm a Florida orchid grower, outdoor grower, and it works for me, and I think it's cute for for any collection to have one of these. They have pink ones. Mine is white with a yellow center, see? And I don't have her ID, although I think I have it written down in my database because I've lost a lot of tags in the orchid shuffles before. But I've had this girl for like, I don't know, I would tell you a good 5 years or so. Got her real tiny at one of the Miami festivals. So thank you for inviting me to the Care Collab. I'm happy that you're here, that you've watched the video. I hope I have helped or maybe even convinced you to go grab a twinkle for your collection. In my opinion, the easiest Oncidium that I have ever grown. So stay safe, stay kind, have a lovely week ahead, and happy growing, y'all.